Good evening and welcome to the April edition of Focus News Magazine. I'm Tom MacArthur.
And I'm Shelley Swanky. On tonight's show, we'll be showing you Tacoma's newest jewel, the Tacoma Dome. And some people think that television is always professional. Well, not so. Tonight we're going to share with you some of our blooper moments.
That's what I'm looking forward to. We'll have a story on PLU's head basketball coach Ed Anderson, who's leaving his post here at PLU for greener fields down in California. We'll also be talking with some people who have had internships this past year, and if you're in the market for an internship, they've got some pointers for you.
We'll be taking a look at those stories and more on Focus News Magazine, so stay with us.
The Farmer's Daughter is located on the corner of Garfield and C Street. It has a variety of knickknacks which will cheer up even PLU students during finals week. There are animals, eggs, wreaths, and of course flowers. So cheer someone up during finals week with a big bouquet of flowers. Or maybe a stuffed animal or two. Call the Farmer's Daughter at 537-3777 and have them delivered today.
Well, this is one of my favorite spots along the Juggerundan track, right down here behind the University Center. Well, in our first story tonight, it was announced earlier this month that head basketball coach Ed Anderson was resigning his post here at PLU. He reportedly is leaving so that he can take on the coaching duties down south at California Lutheran College in Thousand Oaks. Anderson won over 100 games here at PLU, and he brings that record down to a school that has yet to have a winning season. Focus reporter Mike Carlson brings us that story.
Ed Anderson coached the Pacific Lutheran men's basketball team for 8 years, from 1975 until 1983. During that period of time, he won 119 games and losing another 94. Lute teams under Anderson won the Northwest Conference crown in 1979 and 1980, and tied for another back in 1978. This latest season, however, was a disappointment. The Lutes finished with a losing record for the first time in several years, due to injuries to key players and the existence of internal problems on the team. I talked to Coach Anderson about the reasons for his resignation.
Did this latest season have anything to do with the decision?
No, it really did not. I felt that this might have been the best team we've ever had at PLU. And then some unfortunate things happened, and it turned out not to be one of the best teams that we've had, but certainly that was not a factor in my decision, because probably if we hadn't had the injuries, we would have been much more successful than we were.
Were there other problems, such as internal dissent, on the team this year?
Well, I think there are times when those kinds of things happen to a certain extent, but I don't think this was a problem this year. Certainly every year there are some individuals and that may not get along too well with the coach or whatever, but I don't think that was a big problem this year.
One of the things that was brought out in a recent campus newspaper article was that it might have been somewhat difficult for you here coaching with two of your sons under you at various times in your career. How much of an effect did that really have on your career here at PLU?
I don't think that was an effect at all. I was thankful for the opportunity to be able to work with my sons. It was a great experience for my sons and myself, and there were times, of course, when it was a little bit trying for both of us. I think the problem might have been from the idea that I may have asked more of them than I did some of the other players.
But maybe there was more internal dissension than Coach Anderson mentioned.
Well, as a family goes, I guess so does the individuals. We try to keep a lot of our problems that we have amongst our team to ourselves, as I think that's the way it should be. I think some people could accept that and some couldn't. The people that couldn't accept it, they tend to be, I think they may have been the selfish people. I really don't feel that one player makes or breaks a team. Each person has their role, and the coach is the person who finds that role player. Ron played his role very well, I feel. Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have pointed to this internal business, you know, whatever role it did play. How much of a role do you think that any internal strife at all played in Ed Anderson moving on?
I think that PLU would never ask a coach to leave. I would be surprised if that happened. Yet, I feel because of Ed's competitiveness that he may have put a lot of pressure on himself in that situation. His resignation was a result of his own pressure upon himself to do it very well.
I think perhaps I strive a little bit too much to the perfection and not patient enough at times. But I've worked on that considerably, and I think I've overcome some of those weaknesses too.
Anderson has accepted the head coaching job at California Lutheran College in Thousand Oaks. I talked to PLU Athletic Director David Olson about the selection process for a new head coach for PLU.
Well, we will begin immediately to form a screening committee which will review the applications and conduct interviews, and I'll be identifying that group in the very near future, and we'll begin immediately to try to narrow the list down and find the best person possible for this position at PLU.
And so another era in PLU basketball has come to a close, and maybe a new one will soon begin. How do you think Ed Anderson will do down in California?
I'm sure he'll do really well. It's a great challenge for him, and I feel that he can respond to those types of challenges. I think his getting a new start will be really great for him. I wish him the best of luck.
Ed Anderson has a history of really moving into programs that need to be put together, and he is very capable of doing that, and I think he views the position at Cal Lutheran as a distinct opportunity and a challenge for him. And at this point in his life, he seems to feel like this is where it's at for him, and we certainly wish him well in that.
It is an exciting venture for me, and I'm really looking forward to it, but I certainly hate to leave PLU.
This is Mike Carlson reporting for Focus.
Tom, one of the fun things about the Jog-a-Rundon is that there's points along the way that you can show your expertise, and I thought perhaps you'd like to show your expertise in the push-ups right now.
Well, maybe a little later.
Okay, I'll be waiting for that. Push-ups aren't the only thing that you need to be an expert in. There's something more important than that.
And that's expertise in the job market. But I'm sure you've heard it said that you can't get a job without experience, and you can't get experience without a job. There's a way to get that experience, and it's through an internship.
Cooperative education on campus handles all the internships. Focus reporter Lisa Whithaller has more for us on that story.
4 years of college. Select a major, choose courses carefully, hit the books, study hard, and you'll get a job.
Well, perhaps this used to be the case. With increasing competition in the job market and increasing demand on the part of employer to hire individuals with experience, students are having to look beyond the classroom to bridge the gap between studies and career.
Internships are one way of bridging that gap. Whether your major is business or biology, chemistry or communications, experience outside the classroom is important. Kathy Olson-Manalik, Director of Cooperative Education, explains why.
Most of the students who have heard me on campus hear me say time and time again, people don't hire you because of your degree. They hire you because of what you can do.
Former intern Debbie Johnson agrees.
For me, it was like a preparation for the work world. Taking things in the classroom, you really can learn a lot, but you really learn by experience. And an internship is one of the best ways to gain that experience. You can gain as much experience as you can on campus, but once again, you're limited to resources and time. And with gearing your energy and involvement into an internship, you can really go somewhere and meet the people that you need to meet to get out and get a job.
Stiff competition in the job market makes work experience a necessity. Pam Raymer-White of the Career Planning and Placement Office explains.
Although I do see some industries getting better, it's tough out there. Unemployment in this state is at an all-time high. which all that really means is that you have more competitors for a job that you're applying for. Instead of 200 competitors, you have 600 competitors. And that's a true figure. Most of the jobs that you would apply for, there's that many people applying for it. That's where an internship can help. What makes you any different than the person next to you who's applying for that job? Generally, nothing. As a matter of fact, on paper, you may look like twins. You know, same GPA, same college classes, what you may have going for you is something like focus. Your internship, having done that kind of thing, may make all the difference between what qualifications you have over that person sitting next to you.
The Cooperative Education Program plays a key role in helping students find internships. The office serves as a link between student and employer.
When an employer contacts us or we contact them seeking positions, we let them know that we are not a placement office, that it is up to them to hire somebody that will fit into their environment, but that we will refer the students who are interested in the position so that they can be interviewed like any other employee.
The co-op program views work experience as an extension of academic learning. Depending on the amount of time devoted to the internship, up to 10 credit hours may be earned. Faculty advisors assist interns in relating studies to work experience. Natalie speaks of the success of the program.
The program has really mushroomed. I mean, that's the only way to explain it. Last year, when we were evaluated by an outside evaluator, we heard that we have almost twice as many students involved in co-op here as any institution in the country.
The Career Planning and Placement Office offers additional opportunities for work experience. Pam Raymer-White defines the word internship as experience.
Many students get involved with the word, what is an internship, as opposed to a regular work experience, as opposed to a practicum and all that. Internship is experience. So there's many ways that students can gain experience through our office.
Although some internships are paid, many students must accept unpaid positions. White points out that students must place a value on experience.
Kinds of things. It's up to the student involved to determine where does that balance lie. How much is this experience worth? If you compare it to an academic environment, you pay to get the experience in a college or university. And when you look at it that way, it can be a good deal not to get paid, but not have to pay them to teach you.
Employers feel positive about internship programs.
We're very happy to have interns working with us for a couple of reasons. One, they don't cost us anything, and two, they help us get our work done. It gives us an opportunity as well to become known on the campus, and we feel that we're making a contribution to the community by participating in educational programs like this. We like to think that an intern, when he leaves the classroom and comes to an organization like ours, finds out more of what the real world is like. They discover what actual working conditions are. They learn about deadlines, they learn about distractions, and of course they discover practical applications for the things they've been studying in class. Another thing that we get from interns is the academic and technical knowledge that they bring with them from the classroom. In our department here, we have a lot of people working on video productions, none of whom have really had any formal educational background in the subject. So we find ourselves asking the interns sometimes why things work a certain way, or for advice, and they're very helpful.
Johnson is positive about her overall experience as an intern. However, she points out that there are frustrations.
You have to be careful about internships in the fact that you do not get as much responsibility as maybe you would perceive that you would receive. I didn't. At first I had to really push away from a clerical position. That's what they did with me first. It's kind of like starting any job. You have to prove that you're qualified and capable of assuming more responsibility, and you have to start from the bottom.
White says internship responsibilities are not to be taken lightly.
Internship is a job. It's not like a class. You can't skip it when it's a nice day. You can't not come and not call in sick. You can't sign a contract that says you're going to work for 6 weeks and then only work for 4. Those kinds of little frustrations. But I would say that it's only about 2 to 3% of our students going out on internships who do that.
Do job offers come as a direct result of internships? Manley believes the answer is yes. Employers invest a great deal in an intern.
One of the benefits to employers is that this is a way for them to recruit new employees that is not very costly, even for the positions that are paid positions. It takes about 6 months for a new employee to work their way into an organization anyway. And when they have somebody who is very capable, who already knows the system and who has worked for maybe 3 months or even 14 weeks, it gives them the opportunity to take a look at new employees.
Almost 80% of them end up getting some kind of a job offer as a direct result of their internship. That may be that their employer says, why don't you stay on, you're a good worker, or their employer says, I know someone who is looking for a person to fill their job, and the person ends up getting the job as a result.
This referral process between employers is called networking. Johnson feels networking is the big payoff.
PP&L, which is Pacific Power and Light, probably gave me the best opportunity, like I said, to meet people outside of PLU who are working right now. And networking is probably the most important thing a college student, especially a senior, could do right from the beginning. In other words, make contacts out there.
4 years in a college classroom is no longer enough. Students are recognizing that internships provide valuable experience to give them a competitive edge in today's job market. I'm Lisa Rithaller, reporting for Focus News Magazine.
Well, the age-old rivalry of one-upmanship between the cities of Seattle and Tacoma has taken a new twist, and Tacoma has come away winning that round.
This round concerns the Tacoma Dome to rival the King Dome in Seattle. Focus reporter Trudy Strain was there for the grand opening of the Tacoma Dome and tells us about the facility.
The city of Tacoma is alive and growing, and a creative symbol of that growth is the Tacoma Dome. At a cost of $44 million and 2 years in the making, the Tacoma Dome is the world's largest wood-domed arena. In March of 1980, the Dome bond issue was passed, and that's all it took to begin breaking ground on what is now the largest public building between Seattle and San Francisco. The Dome's architects claim its versatility is what makes it such a unique structure. It can accommodate a wide variety of events, anything from football to ice hockey to rock concerts. Seating capacity exceeds 26,000 through the use of a hydraulic system which can be moved into more than a dozen configurations. And in most cases, it takes only 12 hours to convert the entire arena from one event to another. Celebration 83 marked the opening festivities of the Tacoma Dome, and a celebration it was. Several local arts groups, social services, and business organizations were on hand to highlight the event. And it was the first time that Tacoma and Washington residents had the opportunity to view the dome from the inside.
It's a beautiful building. Every time I walk in here, I'm surprised that it's in Tacoma. It just doesn't seem likely.
I think it's fantastic. I watched them build it all the way through.
I think it's pretty nice. It's a lot better than our King Dome. A lot more than I expected.
I think it's pretty neat, yeah. I just like it.
Well, I think it's just marvelous. It's a beautiful place, it really is.
Well, we roller skated in here when you can get in here when the doors weren't locked.
I like it. We're from Federal Way, and we are looking forward to a professional sports team coming here so we can come to watch them here.
I think it's really neat. I work here.
It's terrific. Outstanding. Sure beats sitting in the office all day.
That curiosity proved enough to prompt thousands of people to attend the 4-day opening celebration. Over 450 exhibitors from the Pacific Northwest, along with celebrities like Hank Aaron and Rick Nelson, made the event a memorable occasion.
Well, believe it or not, we only had about 5.5 months to prepare for this. After it was decided what type of event we would have, we had to go real fast, and it required a lot of hours. We were told by a promoter who does a lot of these shows that it would take at least a year or a year and a half to come off with something that we did in fact come off with. He said we would never do it, and here it is, with about at late count, 310,000 people going through the doors between Thursday the 21st and the 24th of April.
Pacific Lutheran University publicized its academic program and community cultural awareness with 2 displays. And between radio station giveaways and hot tub demonstrations, spectators were kept well entertained.
Driving down I-5, feeling kind of witty, taking in the sunshine, looking at the city with the music on, and I come upon a sight that's something to see. Well, it's big and round like cakes on a griddle, pretty blue dome that's rising in the middle, and I rub my eyes. What a nice surprise! How proud the people must be of the Dome of Tacoma. The Dome of Tacoma, where the rock stars, gonna make a big star splash. The Dome of Tacoma. The Dome of Tacoma. Well, it's got a funny name, but it's gonna be famous someday. Listen to what I say. Well, I got 2 tickets and I got my little baby. Gonna take her down to the Dome, say maybe here's some rock and roll or a country show where they're picking and grinning all night. And if you have some friends who want to hold a convention where the crazy has to get wild, not to mention a rodeo, oh, don't you know, everything's gonna be right at the Dome of Tacoma. The Dome of Tacoma, where the rock stars, drug stars, gonna make a big stars play. The Dome of Tacoma. The Dome of Tacoma. Well, it's got a funny name, but it's gonna be famous someday. Listen to what I say.
And if you're interested in catching a bite to eat while you're at the Dome, you have over 13 concession stands to choose from, or the Gallery Restaurant, which overlooks the arena. The 150-seat restaurant will be first class all the way, offering patrons a variety of steak and seafood with an excellent view of the arena. A 30,000-foot convention hall has been built next to the Dome to accommodate banquets, trade shows, and even concerts. Twice the size of Tacoma's bicentennial pavilion, the convention hall is one of the largest exhibition halls in the Northwest. The Tacoma Dome will be hosting a variety of events, including a professional rodeo classic and the Billy Graham Crusade.
In the crusade itself, but it's much like a church service. Cliff Barrows is the program director, and we have special guests, of course, who will share what Christ means to them, and then, of course, special musicians, and then Mr. Graham preaching.
Major sporting events include 4 regular season games of the Seattle Sonics and a season opener football game between Pacific Lutheran University and the University of Puget Sound.
Well, immediately following Celebration 83, there will be the world's toughest rodeo sponsored by Miller High Life from April 29th to the 30th, and then May 1st. Talented performers like the Bellamy Brothers and Tammy Wynette will be performing during intermission times during those dates. After that, perhaps one of the biggest events at Tacoma Dome, probably in the history, will be the Billy Graham Crusade, May 15th through the 22nd. During those 8 days, estimates run as high as 800,000 people walking through the doors.
Tacoma has set the stage for what could put the city on the map when it comes to major sports and entertainment events. And with the overwhelming turnout for Celebration 83, it appears that Tacoma is looking forward to those prospects optimistically. For Focus News Magazine, I'm Trudy Strain reporting.
The Scandinavian Cultural Council needs help to organize a Scandinavian Cultural Center. The center is an opportunity for heritage awareness and academic adventure for the PLU community. A vehicle to promote this center is PLU's Chorro Club. The club buys and sells used articles of clothing as well as enlisting individuals into the club. If you'd like an individual membership, it's only $15, and the family membership is $25. Become part of the Scandinavian scene. Contact either Adney Wyas at 863-4206 or Gloria Peterson at 537-8502.
Times we've had on Focus you've never seen. There are mistakes. That's why tonight we're going to share with you a few of those things, bloopers of strange things that we've done. Like this.
Yeah, Shelly. Quick. Go.
Or would you use that money and appropriate it to items of questionable worth?
like administrative trips, office plants, partitions in the CC that made eating a lunch or a dinner an impossible chore. Do we know what we're
No, we don't know what we're saying.
doing?
We don't.
Would you'd have... This is driving me crazy. Take 4.
Next month, we'll have another Focus News magazine in which we'll take a look at some other things happening on campus in depth.
We can look for much of the same over the weekend with occasional drizzles, but never fear, the sun will soon be here. In the extended forecast, sunny skies are in the store for the beginning of next week. This weather shot is courtesy of Dave Moylan. And thank you for watching Focus. I'm Fritz Brandenburg. Have a great weekend.
And we'll be talking with some people who have had internships, and maybe they'll give you some pointers as we're going good. Good evening, and welcome to the April edition of Focus News Magazine. I'm Tom MacArthur.
And I'm Shelley Swanky. On tonight's show, we'll be showing you the new Tacoma Dome. Do it again.
This is one of my favorite spots along the Jog-a-Rundon track, right down here behind the University Center. Well, in our first story tonight, it was announced earlier this month that why do I have trouble with his name?
Internship open. Take 1!
There you go.
Hi, how are ya? Hi, how are ya?
This is Focus, take 1. 5, 4, 3, 2. Tacoma has set the stage for what could... take 2.
Focus reporter Pat Fernie has more.
5, 4.
PLU television. PLU television.
You want to...
Take 1, 5, 4, 3, 2. 4 years in a college classroom is no longer enough. Students are recognizing that internship. Take 2. 5, 4, 3, 2. 4 years in a college classroom is no longer enough. Students are recognizing that internships provide experience. Take 3.
How's that for a bunch of... Oh, not on tape?
Well, we've come full circle on the Jog-a-Rundon Trail and to the end of this edition of Focus News Magazine.
And to the end of the school year as well, Tom. This will be the last Focus News Magazine for the year. The regular news show, Focus, will continue every night at 4:30 till May 6th.
Best of luck on finals. For Focus News Magazine, I'm Tom MacArthur.
And I'm Shelley Swanky. Good night.